In today's show, we discuss why was the Book of Enoch left out of the Bible?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you keep it safe and well.
Indeed. Hello, Tony. Hello, audience. Glad you could
Yeah,
join us today.
I love it.
I
I love it. I love it.
I got something here for you.
Go on, go for it.
There's a species of jellyfish that is functionally immortal.
What?
Turritopsis dornii can revert to its juvenile form after reaching maturity, potentially cycling indefinitely and thus avoiding death from old age.
What?
The reason they haven't overrun the seas and oceans of the world is because in natural environments, individuals eventually succumb to predation or disease before this reversal occurs.
So, have they seen evidence of it actually happening, or
Yes, I mean
they
obviously.
have? So it
Yeah,
has
and
happened.
the lab ones will live forever, obviously, because
Oh my
no disease and
goodness!
no
Oh
disease
my
and no predation.
goodness! So they can revert back to a younger age.
Correct.
I'm surprised the beauty industry aren't all over this, and the
So
medical
why do you think
industry.
they're catching them and sticking needles and stuff into them?
Oh,
Yes,
to
can you imagine?
understand what's going on. Wow, that's incredible.
There's the link for you to share.
Yeah, we will
Yes.
share that. I bet you might have some people wanting to get them at home and try and figure out for themselves.
Yes, yes. The
It is
idea of living
amazing.
forever, though, I'm
Ugh.
a bit iffy about it. First of all, do you know what that would mean? Life imprisonment would drag, would be a real drag. And, in America, where they hand out, terms like 240 years, that would actually be 240. Nah, nah. What about if you, and I thought about this too, another reason why you don't want to live forever, you really never want to live forever. What about if you're trapped in an earthquake beneath rubble and they never find you?
I see. So you can never die, in other words.
Well, yeah, that's the real hard sell. I don't. I mean,
Hmm.
death is the. I've always thought the lucky ones die first. Death, death is the ultimate get out of jail free card. Thank goodness for death. That's what I say. Be grateful for death.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, but it depends on how you could live forever if you could regenerate and then go back like a game regenerates. You start back at the same position at a young person with the same knowledge that you've got now. Do you see what I mean? It's like a reset. The games when you in a game when you're playing these online games or Xbox and Sony PlayStation, when you die, you go back to the beginning
Mm.
and you're there again, you start again. So if it was something like that, then that's slightly different. But if you're saying that wherever you end up, you will stay forever, are you going to be old and wrinkly or will you regenerate and be
No,
youthful?
they regenerate as juveniles. The starfish. So they're
Okay.
small again. I don't know how that works really. I mean, I can't imagine how the body will shrink and everything, but whatever it is. Now, here's the thing. Would you really, really want to go back to a first date? I don't want that aggro. I remember
Yeah, but
how
with the knowledge I got now, then
insecure
yeah, you
how
can change
insecure
it.
I used to be walking into a restaurant. Would I have enough money? Would she order the right thing? All that
Well,
sort of thing.
yeah, but
It's just I
you've
don't
got
need
the
that.
knowledge now. You still retain that. If you then go back and reset and you don't have any of this knowledge, then no. But if you can go back with what you now know,
Hmm.
wow, that would be different. You would you I don't know, I'd probably stick my head in books and read more books and just expand my knowledge and try different things. I don't know. There could be a point where you get bored at some
I
at,
just
you
about
know.
to ask you
Yeah, you may get bored at
how
some.
many pork chops can you eat before you're actually fed up? There's only so many things to eat on the planet, and after you've done it before, you've done it again, you've done it again. It just gets to be a nothing is
Okay.
very Pink Floyd. Nothing is very
Possibly.
much fun anymore.
Interesting.
Yes,
Interesting. Maybe there's a topic there at some point. We'll maybe
maybe.
discuss that further. Anyway, let's move on with today's show. And this is an interesting one. And this is this talking about the Book of Enoch. But we'll discuss what that is. But we're asking the question, why was the Book of Enoch left out of the Bible? Now, this was one of mine. Now, because our learned scholar, Mr. Tayoboya, is also very good at these things, I will ask him to kick things off, even though it is one of mine. Do you want to give our audience a little bit of a background as to what the Book of Enoch is, first off?
Well, there's a proper name for it, and I'm embarrassed to say that after that wonderful sort of big up you gave me just now, I can't remember. Are they called the how do you pronounce that word? Apocrypha,
Uh,
sort of like the missing books. I think that might be the proper term for it, but I might be wrong. Apocrypha, I think it's called. Uh,
well,
the Book of Enoch is an interesting old bird because because apparently it was deliberately left out of the Bible at the Council of Nicaea. This, oh, I beg your pardon. Council of Jamnia, I beg your pardon, not Nicaea. Nicaea was when the Catholics got going, the early church got going. So it was left
this is
at the canon.
Hebrew. Yeah,
Yeah, yes, at the Council of Jamnia, circa 90 AD. And it was very popular with certain messianic sects that believed in apocalypticism.
that's right.
Yes, the believed in apocalypticism. And as far as the other branches of the, not branches exactly, sorry, the other, if you like, sects of the church were concerned, these apocalypse, I'm really having problems pronouncing my words today. They were just a nuisance, basically. Just like these people with their weird ideas, and I'm not going to say anything about. I could say something funny about some of our churches today, but I won't say anything. Uh, they and there was obviously there were rivals, so a rival idea that you already disrespect and sort of like I suppose they were the equivalent of flat earthers in the Christian church, and they were like the rest of the church is like nah, bruv, nah, you know. So it was left out, and I believe it would have been the Council of Nicaea, but that's on like 320 something, 326 AD, if I remember properly. By that point,
And that's too far away from
no, I mean,
Jesus, really,
because
as
they
well. That's
didn't,
how they
no,
do
no,
it.
no, because the book was floating around, I'm saying, and it was left out, so it was still floating around, but it was at the Council of Nicaea where Emperor Constantine put to death all the bishops who didn't agree with the new credo. This remember the credo now. This is the one that I think Catholics say. I don't know if other people say it. I believe in God the Father Almighty, Creator of heaven and earth. Blah blah blah. Yes,
Yes.
they wouldn't say that,
No.
and so they got sort of heads cut off and everything. So at that point, the book and everything went underground, and you know basically it became persona non grata at Christian gatherings. So it wasn't in the Bible already,
Well, it's
but
that's actually not true. It's
oh,
not
good.
in all
You take it from there.
Bibles. It's not
Hmm.
in all Bibles.
Well,
Majority of Bibles, it's
the
not
one that
in.
came
But
down to us.
yeah, but the Ethiopian Orthodox Church actually
Oh,
included
then,
it.
oh, I'm talking about serious Bibles now. I'm talking Ethiopian
That's a
Bible. What
bit
the
harsh.
heck is that? Is
Uh, so they thought it was good enough to be included, and so they canonized it effectively,
oh,
saying it was.
325 AD. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, it was
Hmm.
quite a bit later though. That's the thing. Even though the Enoch was talking about um is the great grandfather of Noah, Noah's Ark and all this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Enoch was obviously way before Jesus, and his his book attributed to him was a little bit wayward. And I suppose when they discussed it in and around that time when they were putting the Bible together, they didn't think it aligned with the previous books that were deemed more authentic because they were attributed to the apostles and the people of the time of Jesus. But this was pre that.
Yeah, this would have been in the Old Testament.
Yeah, Old Testament, but they
This
still
would have
didn't
been
put
in
it
the Old
in. They
Testament.
didn't put it
So,
in
hmm.
because it
So no,
didn't
you said
match
it's
up.
the apostles. The apostles of the New Testament.
The New Testament is the apostle
So
side, and
that would
that's what
never,
they
it
would.
would never have been in there.
It no, but it would have
Right.
been in the Old Testament, and
Mm-hmm.
also in this book as well, Enoch, as well, because wasn't Enoch found again in the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Well done. Actually, was
Yeah,
that is references to it and
it's the whole
fragments
book. No,
of
one and two were in there. This is what was
one and two.
strange
What?
of Enoch, because Enoch was there was two books of Enoch that were in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And this is why they thought the Dead Sea Scrolls
Mm.
created quite a stir, because they actually, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, those who aren't aware of what they are, I'll give a quick rundown. The Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in the 19th century and they were near the Dead Sea, hence the name. And the point of these books is where they contained books that weren't in the original Bible, but they did contain some of the ones that were in the Bible. Hence why they thought that the manuscripts in the Dead Sea Scrolls may have been lost canonized books that should have made it in the original Bible, but didn't for whatever reason. So that's why there's this discrepancy in thinking, wow, these Dead Sea Scrolls could change the course of what was included in the Bible because, this is almost a complete set, plus Enoch and plus others that were there that had never been seen fully before. But they're not all new and they're not all discounted books because the two books of Enoch that were discovered
Three,
were,
actually.
was it three? Oh gosh, it's even more than me. I thought there was two books that they said were attributed to Enoch. Yeah, but what they didn't like about them was that they were too, like I said, it didn't align with what was previously in agreed to go in the Bible. It was too off-piste, so to speak, if I can use that term. And it also things in there that talked about dualism, and dualism isn't used in
Oh,
the
you have to explain what dualism
well,
is.
dualism. Okay, what dualism is, as far as the church is concerned, including Hebrew, is in China you have yin yang. You've
Yes.
got two the same.
Yes.
What was shown in the Dead Sea Scrolls and in the both books of Enoch. Now you've just said there's a third. I wasn't aware of that one. But what it shows is a lot of dualism. So what you've got good and evil, but they're
Mm.
equal. Whereas,
Ah, so God is
yeah,
not
whereas the
the.
church don't do
Mm.
that. They say that God is the one and only, omnipotent, more powerful, and obviously who goes against God is Satan, but Satan is someone less than
Yes.
God. He's an angel that's a fallen angel. So at any point God could dispense of with um, with Satan, but
Mm.
chooses not to give people the choice. Whereas dualism is you've got equality, and so it was like two entities of equal standing, one
Mm.
good, one bad, and this is what was going against the teachings of the church, including Judaism, because they don't believe in dualism. But this was shown in the books in the Dead Sea Scroll, and particularly Enoch's book.
Mm. Well, the three books of Enoch. The reason I thought you wanted, because this is, by the way, audience, this is Tony's thing,
Yep.
Tony's
Topic.
topic. And when I started looking into it, I thought, no wonder Tony is interested in it because it's his favorite subject. It involves his favorite subject. So there's Enoch 1, which is called the Ethiopic Book of Enoch. Enoch 2, which is called the
Slavonic Enoch.
book of the Slavonic book of the secrets of Enoch. That's a very interesting name, by the way. Once you start talking about the secrets of Enoch, I'm like, ooh, I want to read that.
Mm.
And number three, rather boring, the Hebrew Book of Enoch. Yeah, that's not so. So anyway, Ethiopic book and the Hebrew book, yeah, they're both equally like, ooh. The Slavonic book, The Secrets of Enoch, you'd think that's the one you'd want to read, but you'd be wrong. Because because the one you really want to read is the Ethiopic Book of Enoch. You know earlier when I said yeah, boo, well, I didn't say
Yeah,
yeah, boo, but I said
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, whatever. Apparently, this is what ignorance does. What have I always said? When you don't know that you don't know, you are truly ignorant. And now I've looked this up and think to myself, apologize to the Ethiopians. And I do intend now to travel to Ethiopia because, or maybe I don't have to. Maybe I just buy a book of Amazon or something. I don't have to go. But here we go. It's the first book, the Ethiopic Book of Enoch, has got 5 sections. Do
Yes.
you know what they are? Of course you don't.
I have got it written somewhere in my notes and I'm looking. Yes, here we go. Um, The Watchers Rebellion.
The Book of the Watchers.
Yes, the Book of the Watchers.
What a lovely name.
Azazel and Shemizaz.
Yeah.
And also it covers more detail than Genesis put in.
Mm-hmm.
Th-
Then the
Uh, uh,
similitudes of Enoch.
yeah.
And as soon as I find out well, I know what similitudes mean, but I can't understand how I can possibly be in a heading that makes any sort of sense whatsoever. So maybe I don't know what similitudes mean, but the similarities of what does that mean? Anyway, and then the astronomical book, which sounds astronomically interesting. The Book of Dreams. I mean, come
Yes.
on, man. These are serious. This is the sort of no wonder they don't want to teach us. This would have been the good stuff at school. Imagine being in school doing religious education. And then finally the Epistle of Enoch. So those are the 5 books. And
I,
the Book of the Watchers. Who are the Watchers?
but they mention
Very
this though in the Bible. The thing is, Enoch is actually mentioned very briefly in the Bible.
It is, but the Watchers. I mean, there's a lot going on. Once you get into the Watchers, because I was intrigued. It was like, by the way, I knew about the Watchers. Well, I didn't know about that it was an actual book.
Yeah.
Once you start getting into them, you start finding out where a lot
Well, the
of
fall of the Watchers, it's basically the Watchers are a group of angels
there
and they
are a group of
rebel.
angels. Hmm.
They rebel, but they descend to earth and mate.
No, sorry, no, they don't. They were Watchers. They were sent to Earth to watch humans, and then they were told to
Okay.
stop watching humans. That was it's okay.
Because
Come
they
back,
mated with humans.
come back home,
Yeah.
basically. And they
Yeah.
were like, yeah, no, we like it down here, bruv.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the we got all these chicks, man. Wow, you should try it
I
sometime.
know, I know. And they mated with human women and they produced offspring called the
Yeah,
Nephilim. So
yeah.
this is what the Book of Watchers is trying to say. And the thing is, this Nephilim were mentioned in Genesis, Book
Oh
of
yes,
Genesis
yes.
6 1 4, and it's expanded, but it's more so in the Book of Watchers. So they go on a bit more about the angels and the watchers who come down. And why this differs from the other scriptures, and possibly why it was decided they didn't fit, is because they were blamed. They were blamed for teaching humans forbidden knowledge.
That's correct. Spiritual beings tasked the Nephilim, the Watchers, were spiritual beings tasked with observing and guiding humanity. However, these entities transgressed divine law by interbreeding with human women. I suppose they were like, whoa. And imparting forbidding knowledge to mankind. In a way, they could still have twisted it around and said, well, women corrupted them. You could
Oh,
still do that sort of thing if that was your bag. This resulted in the creation of the Nephilim, a race of giants described as
yeah,
beings of tremendous power and intellect, but also, unfortunately, great wickedness.
yes. Well,
Yeah,
they
talking
were
about
corrupted,
giants.
weren't they? That's the thing. We touched on giants, didn't we? We did a
Well,
show on giants.
since then, in Peru or somewhere in Latin America, South America, recently, and by recently I mean I've watched it recently, say in the last couple of weeks, a video about footprints and skulls and skeletons of beings that were 7 to 9 foot tall.
Wow.
So this is not becoming something in this is it's no longer speculation, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And there's no suggestion. This is proper archaeology. There's no suggestion of a hoax. There's nothing like they're not even calling them Nephilim or anything. Just saying, well,
Big people.
these people are huge,
Yeah.
huge people, and with fun. And then there's another group in again. I think this is a lot early. You showed me a picture, I think, with huge
Yeah.
crania.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So I
Well,
mean, all these stories probably come from somewhere.
well, yes, indeed. Indeed. I mean, we even did a show on it and we sort of dismissed it in a way. Yeah, it could have been tall beings, but it's all relative. How tall are we
How tall
talking?
is tall? It's taller
Yeah,
than the Watusi and people like that.
yeah, but I mean, they were small back then. They weren't even as tall as us now. Would we be deemed giants compared to them if they saw us today? And we're just merely
Especially me.
average human. Yeah, you're very tall indeed. But the thing is, this is elaborating more what Genesis was explaining.
Hmm.
So could this have been because I'll continue just very briefly. This book of Watchers also describes Enoch's journey, and it's a cosmic journey.
Mm-hmm.
And he tours, in quotes, heaven, hell, and earth. And in the book, he describes cosmological secrets, storehouses of winds, the resting place of souls, for instance. Now, what I derive from this, which could be an interesting viewpoint, is the Watchers, the group of angels, are actually aliens.
There we go. Boom.
Yay!
Tony's favorite topic. I knew we were going to get into aliens again.
Well, it's cosmic journeys. How could a human who was, with primitive technology engage in tours of heaven and hell unless he was brought into some advanced craft from an alien and brought to those places. Now, obviously, when the book was put together, the people who were were choosing which books were befitting of the Bible thought that this was just too out there. But Enoch could have been telling stories of his encounters with aliens. And the aliens, who they deemed angels, watchers, again, alien beings, descended to Earth and mated with humans. Why not? Human hybrid programs, they've all been speculated UFO by UFO folklore as a thing. So could this not been happening in the past too? So I mean, these are obviously
Hmm.
questions to throw out there. Very limited evidence to back it up, of course, but there's certainly an
That's never
interesting
stopped us
avenue.
before.
No, indeed,
Yeah,
indeed.
so I take a slightly different point of view. So look. So the book of the book itself of Enoch, the interesting one, the Watchers. It talks it talks about an analysis of it allows you to compare the Watchers to other angelic entities from other elsewhere in the Bible. But these Watchers, I mean, the name itself implies a role of surveillance and non-interference. So to watch from afar. But then you get this idea of them coming down, and it does say that they took females onto them. I think I'm now quoting from the original Bible. They saw that the daughters of men were fair. I believe that's the exact quote from the Bible because it's Genesis 6, I believe, or something like that.
Genesis 6 that
Right.
mentions them,
They
yeah.
saw the daughters of men were fair and took unto them wives. That's from my religious education donkeys years ago.
Wow.
The well, okay, quick aside. The reason that I was very interested in that passage was because I used to tease my poor Bible knowledge tutor, who must have passed on. I was old even then. He must have passed on, and he was a very gentle man, a very kind man. And I would tease him with this because it's followed by, and they gave rise. they took unto them wives, blah blah blah, and they gave rise to the sons of God. That exact
The
phrase, the sons of God.
sons of God.
Yeah, plural, the sons of God.
Hmm.
And then I said, well, hold on. In what was it now? John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he sent his only begotten son.
Yeah, only son. So that contradicts
Well,
that.
no, begotten, you see.
Oh.
Begotten. And that was the get out of jail free card that he played on me. It was like,
Oh, I
nah,
see.
it's the only begotten son of God, not the only son of God.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and at that point in time, obviously, that access to the internet and this and that and everything, which I've subsequently had, I'd be able to point out to him that actually begotten was a word that was inserted by a
Oh,
monk.
really?
Yes, and if that monk, what that monk has actually succeeded in doing was in causing the schism between Christians and later on the Muslims, because
Muslims.
that is
Yeah.
that single word is the bone of contention.
Is it really? I did not know that.
The entire bone of contention between Christians and Muslims comes down to one single word: begotten. This is why I say you must never. Okay, I'm not going to go further. Anyway, begotten is the quarrel because the Muslims say God doesn't beget. He's not animalistic. He's not an animal. He doesn't. We beget because we're animals. And God says be, and it is. It says Allah. Allah says be, and it is. If Allah wants to have a virgin be with child, Allah says to the virgin, be with child. And
And
the
it
virgin will
happens.
be with child. Now, so then he asks the Christian, what the hell do you mean beget? Well, what do you say that God did? You know, prior permission, all that sort of thing. So that's the problem. That's it.
I
The
did not know that.
Prophet Isa is again, is this they claim that he's they don't act like it, but they claim that Prophet Isa is a venerative.
Jesus,
Yes,
basically,
yes,
yes.
Jesus
He's a prophet,
is a
but
yeah.
not, he's not the
Supposedly, even
chosen.
more. Supposedly, if you read the Hadith and all this, even higher than Prophet Muhammad. But like I said, they don't. They say it, but they don't act like it. So the Prophet Isa is really special, and yeah, and they believe that Mary was a virgin, just like Christians do. The only quarrel is this word begotten. Anyway,
Interesting. I did
what
not
if?
know that.
Yes,
But they're
yes,
all Abrahamic, aren't they? Even Judaism.
they're all Abrahamic. They're all
Yeah, it all stems from
Abrahamic.
that. And just they all split off into three strands, effectively, where you've
I think
got,
there's one more you forgot. The Baha'i.
I don't know about the Baha'i. I thought
The
it was just
Baha'is
three
they
strands.
live in it comes from religion I believe Iran. I believe the Baha'is. It's very gentle, very gentle. The reason you haven't heard of them is because they're very gentle. So they don't make a lot of trouble, and if you don't make trouble, you don't really
You
get
don't get
very far in
noticed.
this
Yeah, I
world.
see. I see.
I think. Anyway, so let me tell you about what the watches did. So you said earlier that I think you said that, or did I say, or did you say that they shared secrets with man?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so apparently, what they did, according to the Book of Enoch, is they brought with them knowledge of metallurgy, cosmetics, weapon making, and even celestial secrets.
Yeah.
Now, that kind of
Astrology.
lends itself to your UFO theory.
Mm.
And when you start thinking UFOs, you stop thinking about they took onto themselves the daughters of men that are so warfare. You start thinking about genetic experiments,
Yes.
which we've covered before when we were talking about the mound somewhere. Where's that mound with those peculiar in Turkey? And what? You remember the huge structures?
Oh, Gobekli
Gobekli
Tepe.
Tepe. Gobekli
Gobekli Tepe. Yes.
Tepe. Yes,
We
Gobekli
did a
Tepe.
show on that, which was quite interesting.
We did a show
Previous
on
show.
that,
Yeah.
and uh, due to the some of the glyphs, and I won't call them hieroglyphs, some of the glyphs on the pillars and stuff, it evoked the idea of those did evoke the idea of genetic manipulations and whatnot. That's what we spoke about it before. That's when we spoke
Yeah.
about it. So, so we keep getting this spread out. When I say spread out, I mean global almost, not as widespread as the flood, but every now and then it pops up this idea that people visited and they messed around with
Yeah.
human DNA. The South, what was it? The South Africans talk about the people who came from the sky,
Yes.
and then the West Africans, not my mob, but further down the coast towards the western tip of Africa, they know about, was it, a binary star system that isn't visible to the naked
No, I
eye.
know. I know. That is like, what?
Yeah, and
How?
obviously they didn't have telescopes or anything, so it's just like, and then they knew, not just, they didn't just know about its existence, they knew about its cycle
Yeah.
and all sorts of things about. So it was pretty advanced knowledge, and it's just like, but hang on, you can't even see the blooming thing.
Yeah.
How do you know
How?
about it?
Yeah.
And yeah, well, they were taught by the gods. They said so, and this. So yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
this is the whole point of a lot of religions, really, where a lot of the people who would have written about it, although let's be honest, there was not a lot of widespread literacy back then. So the people that did write or did get, maybe they didn't write, but there were others who wrote for them.
Mm,
So there was a lot of that, like ghostwrite in effect, if someone has died, but that happened as well. But there were people who were writing on behalf of some of the apostles, apparently, because not all the apostles were educated enough to be able to write. But
correct.
anyway, that's a separate topic. But what their view, if they were to see a craft and people coming out of it, of course they're going to think they're godlike. They're
Hmm.
going to think, if they're well lit, it's going to be like angels, because they're in the sky, they fly, they come down, they cannot explain it. So the first thing that they would put down to is gods, and hence the stories that they tell over the fireplace would amount to things that we're seeing here in these books. Now, obviously, going back to this Book of Enoch as a whole, when the Bible was put together, people must have seen this, and what would they have made of it, thinking, no, this is too far-fetched, this cannot be real. you know Others have spoken about gods and angels from the sky, but no one has actually mentioned what Enoch is claiming, where he's
Mm,
actually gone on journeys. So, but I'm seeing that as aliens picking him up and taking him in their craft. Hence, he was able to see these things. And his way of making sense of this is heaven, hell, and things like that.
mm.
I don't know
By the
what
way,
else he could have described it.
the spinning. Who saw a spinning wheel of fire?
Do you know what? There was an image of that in a famous picture by Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, yeah. It's because he's a biblical gentleman who saw this spinning wheel of, oh, I know,
He
of
called
fire,
Wheel of Fire. Yeah,
and I
that's right.
believe he was taken up in it.
Well, then that could be Enoch.
Mm,
Or is it somebody else that's also been taken up?
who is it now? This is Ezekiel. That's, why did I forget?
Ezekiel.
Can't
Oh,
believe I forgot.
right.
Yes. The vision is not typically interpreted as a UFO, but as a symbol of divine presence and movement. But the wheels are described as having rims and spokes.
Well, that's
And
ridiculous.
the image of the wheels within wheels covered with eyes. Oh, you would suppose you and I would say windows,
Yeah,
right? And yeah, so it's wouldn't it be the first time? I mean, it's not. It's
inconceivable.
funny. It's not inconceivable.
Mm,
And even Moses's burning bush
yeah,
when the bush didn't catch fire,
yeah.
and it was. I think he said it was even cloudy as well. So it does appear as if there's been some toing and froing and this and that, and not to big them up in any way, but what if the God's chosen people are the result of this genetic engineering?
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And obviously, alien beings, if this is what they are, the humans that were on the planet couldn't couldn't describe him any other way. And hence, this is what they wrote down as if there were just angels, gods, all sorts. And Enoch's cosmic journey,
Mm.
where he saw tours of heaven. But what did he see? Did he see wonderful places, or and then hell? What, workers' camps, or fire pits, or what did he see? And then obviously he referred to them as heaven and hell. And it's or did he tour? Did Enoch get taken up in a vessel of some form, and he was shown parts of Earth where I don't know, volcanoes were. And because he'd never seen volcanoes, he could have attributed those as hell because they're burning, they're spewing out molten ash and fire. So that could have been hell as far as he was concerned if they'd gone past volcanoes that were erupting, because he may not have seen any of those. So there's many different angles of viewing what he described, which is really, really interesting. Anyway, we've just spoken about the Book of Watchers. There was more than one book, as we said. The Book of Parallel Parables,
Hmm.
and in that, they in Enoch talks about the Son of Man, and he introduces the messiah figure called the Son of Man or the Chosen One,
Mm.
and he will be the one to execute judgment on the wicked, and he will reign in a future kingdom.
Yeah.
What we can make of that has been replicated elsewhere. We've obviously described the Messiah in that way. Obviously, the Christian faith, they say it's Jesus. The Jewish faith, they're still waiting for that Messiah to come. The the Muslim faith, I don't actually understand from their point of view what they view as far as the chosen one. Who is the chosen one?
Well, I believe it's the Mahdi, but it's a bit complicated from my point of view because I I didn't really study that intensely. But yeah, they're waiting for the Mahdi, and it's some sort of parallels with the return of the Messiah as according to the Book of Revelation. But it's I'm not really I don't want to say anything about it because I'm really not competent to
Right.
speak about it. That's just the name that comes to mind, the Mahdi, and yeah, when he comes back, he's going to make things right or something.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
I mean, Enoch's book of parables, he does talk about the chosen one, which is again linked to some of the other books that have made mention to the Messiah, the Son of Man, the chosen one, who will execute judgment on the wicked. And so there's a parallel there. Is there a return of whoever this is?
mm,
And also there is righteousness in strewn throughout the text, because there's always a call which condemns rulers, earthly rulers who oppress the righteous. This is a common thread that's in all the books. So
well,
there's
Trump has
some.
had it then.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, when rulers who then oppress the righteous, and that's throughout
Not to
history.
mention Starmer. No, never mind Trump. What about our blooming Starmer here? Good crikey. I suppose I can get arrested for that now, given our very peculiar so-called laws of to protect speech.
Well, there
It's
aren't any
amazing.
laws to protect speech. If you say anything and hurt someone's feelings, you could be arrested.
Yeah, well, that's if you heard. Well, this is Germany, isn't it? Someone has actually gone to prison now, I believe. I don't know if it was fined or went to prison because a minister's feelings were hurt when this person said something about that minister.
I think it wasn't a one-off though. It was several. Yeah, I mean, he's entitled to his opinion,
Does he?
and
Does it?
the
I was
thing
going
is,
to. Does it really
it doesn't
matter?
mean. Yeah, I know. Does it mean that he's offended? I mean, come on.
Yeah, okay,
If
you're
it, I
offended. All
think
right,
it
and
morphed. No, but I think it morphed into harassment. It wasn't just that. I think there
even
was a little
so,
bit more to the story, but yeah,
I
it
mean,
started
harassment.
off.
If he's running around saying I'm going to come and beat you, but that's already on the statute books. There's the
It
threat of
is. It
violence,
is.
and if there's no threat of violence, you just you've just got somebody who just can't stand your face and is unfortunately is on your case.
No, but didn't he turn up at strategic places that he was at, him and his family?
Yeah,
He
there's a
didn't do
word for people.
anything. He didn't
There's a
do
word
anything.
for there's a word for that.
Stalking.
Nuisance.
Yeah, nuisance.
You're a
Yeah,
nuisance.
but it would cause you to be a little bit alarmed if you see the same nuisance at the school where your kids are or where your daughter
No, hang on.
hangs
You're going
out.
too far there. There's
No,
no
no, no, but
suggestion he
I'm
did that.
saying that there was an element of this.
If
It
everywhere
wasn't just
you if
purely
everywhere
online.
you go, there's some guy standing there and he's got a banner and he's shouting, "I don't like mafiosi, Tony, go away," sort of thing. There's not much you can do about it. That's just one of the things you're going to have to tolerate as a public figure, in my opinion. And you certainly can't. I mean, he's got free speech. He's got
As
free
long as
speech.
it doesn't become harassment, then that's the thing. And
Yeah, I wonder
I
what that
think
is,
that
though.
one did it. Yeah, the reporting was a little bit. Yeah, he did put stuff on social media, granted, but I think there was an
Because I
element
heard,
of
what I heard
harassment
was social media. Nobody ever said it was showing up. Where did you get that from?
on ground news.
So,
So
so here we go. I wanted to share this with you, with the audience, you know, the concept of the Mahdi is significant in Islamic eschatology. He is believed to appear at the end times to restore justice and equity. The Mahdi is expected to rid the world of evil and injustice. Good luck with that. And will be a descendant of Prophet Muhammad, appearing shortly before Jesus. So even the Muslims think Jesus is coming back.
interesting.
Yes. I did genuinely. The only quarrel is this blooming word. Uh, begotten. I mean, let's just sit down and just agree to disagree and shake hands and what was all the bloodshed for? It's ridiculous.
Indeed, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Right. Book of Parables as well in
Mm-hmm.
Enoch also describes the resurrection of the dead and the final triumph of the righteous.
I'm surprised you're moving away from your alien thing because you haven't even mentioned Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon. You know when they said the watchers came down
Yeah.
on the mount? It was Mount Hermon.
Oh, I haven't got that. I didn't get that in my
Oh, okay,
data.
Mount Hermon. Okay, yes. And the reason that I thought you'd be, well, that's why you don't have it, because even today in modern times, Mount Hermon, if you look it up, it seems to be a high activity area of the world. It's one of those remote locations where there are an abnormal frequency of sightings of
Alien craft.
UFOs, unexplained flying objects,
Wow.
unidentified flying objects.
So
Is there a
we
reason why the Watchers chose this location? Why is this location such a big thing? You know what's going on around Mount Hermon?
hmm. It's
And
interesting, isn't it? Where you
it is
got all these
interesting.
examples of historical craft or
Oh,
things
goings
being
on. I prefer
seen. Yeah.
the lovely British expression. There have been all these goings on. One of the more recent ones we just heard about in the past few weeks are the not artifacts, structures found underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Yes.
Now, I think we can put to bed that Giza was a burial chamber.
Yes.
I think that's dead, done. Stop talking about it if you don't want to seem to be ignorant.
Yeah.
Nobody builds. Oh, what was it? A 2 kilometer deep living structure and with stones and
Pillars or
shovels,
something
and
that goes down, isn't it? Or across the piece, which
it
is
goes across and
incredible.
it goes down. It goes down like 2 kilometers or something. It's just like, hold on a second.
No, no, we can't even do that now properly.
No, I did actually look it up. You and I had an argument about it. I looked it up, and we've gone down a bit further. We've gone down further than that.
Oh,
But
we
I
have.
mean, that's modern. You know,
Hmm.
modern times. But I think it. I mean, with picks and shovels. I mean, how do you? No, come off it. I mean, and it
No,
was supposed to. All this was supposed to be done in 25 years.
no.
That's a massive digging. Even if you do have a slave army, that's a lot of earth to shift. And it's the whole thing is ridiculous. It looks like there was some kind of water system that used water to do something, and it was funneling water back up from the floor. I mean, with what?
What?
Yeah, well, this is what they see. I mean, they're still early days yet, but that's what it looks like. And then I go, how is this? You know, so I I I
Incredible.
I think increasingly, okay, so there are two solutions, right? One is that Enoch knew something, and well, not just Enoch, is Ezekiel. People they actually met aliens.
Yes,
That's
I
that's one.
believe that too.
And two, yeah, we know you do. And two, we've had civilizations that have perished before us. The Silurian hypothesis, is it called it?
Yeah, we did a show on that
We
too.
did a show. So we Silurian hypothesis. There have been advanced civilizations before ours, and I've been searching for. Unfortunately, I can't find it. I'm still searching for it. Pictures which I thought I had shared with you of what looked very much like a person sitting sitting in a chair in front of what looked like what do you call this that people pilots
Oh,
pilots jiggle around, not the joystick, the other one, you know.
cockpit.
Yeah, they're sitting in a cockpit, but what's the thing that they actually hold and they use to manipulate the aircraft? It's got two handles. There's a proper name for it. It's not a joystick, and that's why I'm trying to avoid using the word joystick. Anyway, controls,
Okay.
if you like.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it looks like this. It looks this person is sitting in this
Is
craft.
this the one where he's sitting in a background, a back position or something? And it looks like he's in a spacesuit controlling some
Correct.
device.
It
Yeah.
looks like the front end of a helicopter.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that that's remarkable in itself. But that there are two of them.
On the
One was
green.
found
Yeah.
in South America. The other was found in
In
Egypt.
Egypt. Yeah.
So
On
what the heck?
hieroglyphs. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What the heck?
I
That I
know.
mean, if people are drawing something, yeah, you can understand somebody drawing something in one place, but drawing the same thing
See,
5,000 miles away.
the question there is it a civilization that's earthly, or
Mm-hmm.
is it attributed to an off-worldly race of beings, which is what Enoch is getting back to our
I
topic for
would
today.
imagine. Well, you see, you can't get off that easily because one of Enoch's big thing. This remember when I said, and I couldn't pronounce the word earlier, and I probably still can't. Cataclysm, whatever it was.
Cataclysmic.
No,
Yeah.
that's an easy word, cataclysmic. Even Ty can say that. Anyway,
Okay.
one of the things, yeah, one of the things that Enoch banging on about is genuine pre-flood knowledge. He was talking about pre-flood, right? Remember, he
Yeah.
said it was Noah's. What was he?
No, his father.
Noah's. What was he? Noah's father,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So this flood could be could be a civilization, the end bit of a civilization, because the Watchers, if you remember, were still around. They were still messing around. That's why Enoch knew about them. Okay, but the quarrel came about and said you shouldn't be doing this because even Enoch says that they were disobedient. They were disobeying orders, so to speak, in what
Oh,
they were
right.
doing, what they were teaching, and all sort of thing. The flood could be the result of a war,
Interesting.
and the war that would explain what happened if it's that particular flood. What happened to the Irons, this Atlantis, the Iron Sahara,
Oh, interesting.
which
Interesting.
makes none of this aliens, but it
No.
does make an advanced civilization,
Civilization, yeah, indeed,
right?
indeed. I have to
But
stand
but
corrected.
but
Enoch wasn't Noah's father. He was his great grandfather. My apologies. So let me
right,
correct
okay,
that.
good,
Yeah,
okay, I didn't somehow.
yeah. I thought Methuselah was
Oh, no.
Noah's.
Methuselah is a very interesting character, and I used to tease my poor Bible knowledge teacher about him because he just appears out of nowhere in the Bible and then disappears again.
Okay.
And what's interesting
Wasn't he
about him,
Noah's dad? It was him that was Noah's dad.
I
Well,
doubt it.
allegedly.
I
No?
doubt it because Methuselah had no beginning, no end of days, and was like a prophet.
Oh,
That's said in the Bible. It didn't say he was a prophet, it said, but was
he was
like unto
like
a
a prophet.
prophet. Yeah. But he had no beginning and no end of days. And I'm asking my Bible knowledge teacher, say, hang on a second. Who is this? No
Hmm.
beginning. What does that mean? He wasn't created.
What,
So
he just
so
appeared?
he's just there. Like from where? Is he
See,
God's
that
companion? Well,
that would imply external beings rather than humanoid
I don't know what it would
previous
imply
expedition.
because I
Well,
have zero idea
unless
of.
what it may, it's strange that they don't talk about his beginnings though. They just mention that he appeared.
He's just there. They
Hmm.
just talk about he's like he's wise like Methuselah. I've forgotten the exact reason why they mention him, but they mention him in passing. It's just like, oh yeah, the guy who was never born and never dies. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, back to
See,
what we.
that to me,
It's
that to
like that.
me, that to me does sound more alien-like because even civilizations that pre-existed ours, were they different to us? Were they
What about a
humanoid?
robot? What about an android? Android? Yeah. What
Android?
about a robot?
Oh, what you saying that previous civilizations could have
Well, if they had
produced?
flying people in sort of helicopter type being things, why not? And if it
Wow.
was robotic, it just appeared and went its way in peace. I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's interesting. That's an interesting idea of whether they were way
There's
more
so much
advanced
going
than
on in the
us.
world. There's so
I
much going
know.
on in the world that we really can't fathom.
No.
It's
Well, the things, okay, with Enoch though,
mm,
they did mention a lot of things coming from the sky. So,
mm.
that to me would indicate UFOs of some sort, something like that. But
Well, they
yeah,
haven't
it
gone
could
away,
be
have they,
civilized.
UFOs?
No, they're still here. This is what I mean.
And is this why this keeps me suppressed? Because why is it that the Vatican still refuses to recognize Enoch? What happened? Apparently, there was some kind of systematic purge. It doesn't say what year, which is ridiculous. Some kind of systematic purge from libraries of Europe. Why? Even traces only in far off places like Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Whose ox was it goring? Well, I suppose theologically it would be difficult
It would be because it's too
to
divergent
to
from
divergent
yeah
to
yeah
divergent.
it is. So they're just saying nah, it's just a work of fiction, some man's
And probably
ramblings. There's no
your
truth.
duality thing is probably the worst aspect of it from the point of view
Well,
of.
yes, because it contradicts exactly what the teachings of the church say. I mean,
But
there was
then
other.
again, why are they the teachers of the church in that case?
Well, exactly. They're saying that the teachings are not congruent with all the others. So all the others are implying a certain method of practicing faith, and this one, Enoch, is a bit too far off of it. So that's why it couldn't be included. It's like, well, it's respected because it's mentioned, but yeah, what he said, nah, is a bit too far-fetched. Just the ramblings of an old man. Let's just get on with what we've put in the book, which we think is right. But to me, the fact that humans were involved with putting the book together shows me that this is just my own opinion that the Bible is fallible because it was put together by man. It wasn't like put together by God. It was put
So say that
together by
again.
man.
Why is it fallible?
It's because it's humans put the books in there.
No, under divine inspiration.
And an argument that Enoch's book isn't divine.
Yeah, wasn't divinely inspired. But from a
But
certain
but
point
he
of view,
makes
what makes it
mentions, but he makes mentions of some of the other
well, what is scarier,
canon
Tony?
are in
What is
there. Go on.
scarier is that if it's not divinely inspired, and if he wasn't just a very early Stephen King, then what he was actually doing was recording history,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So those beings were truly there.
Yes.
Well, there you go. So that's
This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Because it doesn't follow the church's viewpoint, they've chosen to leave it out. But as far as Enoch's concerned, he's describing what he's seeing and his interpretation of what he's seeing. So yeah, it's somebody's diary effectively of what he went through. But as far as the church is concerned, because it doesn't align with the teachings of the church, then it's almost dismissed, which is part of what we're talking about in this show. Why was this book left out? And we're going through the book to see why it is so divergent to what was said before, even though there are similarities. So you think, well, if some of the other books are in there, I mean, you've said it before, Revelations is a bit wacky, but this isn't that wacky in comparison to Revelation, but it talks about things that aren't aligned to what the current Bible teaches. And so, yeah, isn't put in. Oh, this is
Yeah,
another
I
one. You
wouldn't
sent me a
exactly say
link
I
here.
said the Book of Revelation is wacky. I mean, it's even respective theologians say it's different,
But it was
very different.
included. It was
Well, yeah,
included.
well, yeah, yes, it's yes.
Yeah.
So there are some strange. Well, you know,
Well, do you know what's
and
really strange? Because book 5 of Enoch,
mm,
the Epistle of Enoch, actually talks about apocalyptic warnings, which is
there we go. The
effectively
apocalypticism. That was the word.
apocalypticism. Yeah. Um, and he talks about the final judgment where sinners are destroyed, not killed, destroyed, and the righteous inherit a renewed earth. So it's like, hold on, this is what Revelations is saying, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So he's put a lot of things in the book of Enoch, which, well, which what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, which complement in some degrees some of the stuff which was included in the Bible. So this is why I'm thinking, how far removed was the book of Enoch to not be included? I
Well, I
think it
think
is.
you've no. I believe you solved that. I really do. I mean, I didn't know
What, the
about it.
dualism?
Yeah, that's a you can't accept that. Can't accept that.
Yeah.
God is the all powerful. He's the all father. He's you know Satan is
It doesn't,
definitely
well,
not his.
dualism doesn't say that he's not. It just
Well,
adds that there's another of equal power.
well, equal. That's the problem.
Equal, yeah.
Equal is the
It's the
problem.
equality.
The link I sent you is very interesting because there's a testimony from someone.
Testimony?
Yeah, there's a testimony from someone.
It can't be recent.
No, no, it's a modern person.
Oh,
He's got
go
a
on.
website, and he says he just wanted to read this out to you that in Genesis 5:21 to 24, we are told that Enoch walked with God. In my research, I have found the Book of Enoch. I have read it over and over and found it to be very moving and very inspiring. It was the key to bring me back to our Lord and Savior. End quote. Now, if somebody reads the Book of Enoch and still comes back to Jesus Christ, then I suggest that it can't be. I mean, I'm not saying people should go out and read it and lose their faith or
That
one,
divergent, no.
but it can't be that divergent because it brought someone to Jesus.
Yeah, but that could mean that because it wasn't included in the Bible, it's someone else's point of view, which is similar to what is in the Bible anyway. And there is. I mean, yeah, there are some things in here that match what's already in the Bible. So it's not too divergent. The only thing is that is this dualism, which could be the sticking point of why it was not put in. And what he describes, which some of the bits are strange, like the Nephilim actually mating with human women, the fallen angels. Okay, that it relates to what's in the current Bible now because it mentions that Satan is a fallen angel as well. So this could be another group that actually chose to not follow Satan, but certainly disagree with God's kingdom and come down and mate with humans. So it see there's some elements here that aren't too dissimilar to what is in the Bible, but there are certain pieces that are strange. I mean,
I would love to read book three.
hmm,
Book three includes chapters 72 to 82, which deals with stars, moon, astronomy, and the universe.
see, where would they have got that from?
Well, no, are they accurate? This is why I want to read it. Is it accurate? If it talks about, if it, there's, I don't know, how far should
But
I go?
remember, the church used to
There's a
believe that
religion.
that the earth was the center of the universe and
Well,
everything went around it. This is now, I
yeah,
suppose,
but that wasn't in the holy book, though, was it?
no, that was
But
just the
there is
church
another holy book
belief.
which I'm not going to mention because I'm not going to mention which holy book. There's another holy book that says that the stars are between the earth and the moon, which to me means that's not the holy book, if you see what I mean.
Mm.
Yeah. So you can dismiss a book that says the stars are between the earth and the moon because the stars are not between the earth and the moon. Now,
Yeah.
right. So if you read this book of Enoch, which was it? Book three,
Yeah.
book three
The
of
astronomical
the,
book.
thank you, of the astronomical book, the
Yeah,
one
because
of
it
the.
detail in there, it details the movements of the sun, the moon, and the stars, emphasizing a 364-day solar calendar. See, that goes against the teaching that said that the earth was the center of the universe and everything went around the earth.
Did it say that the Earth goes around the sun? Heliocentric? I don't think it's.
Well, I don't think it says that, but it
Well,
says
that's.
the movements of the sun,
Hmm.
moon, and
Well,
stars, emphasizing 364-day solar
okay, so the
calendar.
movement of the sun would then be wrong, wouldn't it? Because the movement of the sun implies the Earth is still and the sun is moving,
But
rather
they
than the
couldn't
sun is
tell
still and
that.
the
They
Earth is
couldn't
moving.
tell that then, no, could they?
Well,
To
they, I
them, it would
think,
have looked.
I think heliocentrism was something that even the ancient Greeks came across.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And by the
Blimey,
way,
we're
I'll tell
reaching
you
the
what.
top of the hour here. We need to sum up. Goodness
I'll
me.
tell you what. This is very peculiar.
Go on.
There's this chap that I follow, and I told you about him. Christian gentleman who's very anti evolution, all that sort of thing. He's basically an apologist for the biblical apologist. And he said something, and he immediately lost me. He lost me. He said, "You can't prove that the Earth is moving." And if you remember, I told you about it. I said,
Yeah,
well, "This is
we
ludicrous.
spoke about
The
this. Yeah.
satellites, the moon, and everything." Ah, the problem is, and I even asked some woman with a PhD, physicist, who was teaching science in one of the schools. She was actually head of science for an entire swathe of schools. And I said, well, yeah, this is a silly idea I came across. Just confirm for me that it is ludicrous. There's no way that the earth can be standing still, is there? I was just like, no, of course not. And she looked at me like very suspiciously as if I said, no, I'm not the one saying that. I'm just confirming that it's ridiculous. But recently, I came across someone else who said, actually, if you make the earth stand still, the maths works out better than if the earth is moving around the
Sun.
sun. But I have a lot of difficulty with this because this person who was saying that was a, big scientist and whatever. It's like the stars rotate around the earth, right? What speed are they going at to make a circumlocution around the earth in the night sky? Because if they really are that distance away from us and they're going around us once in
No,
24 hours,
they're traveling too fast.
they're I mean, the speed of light is slow,
Yeah,
right? So it doesn't. So surely we are the ones who are moving. I mean,
moving. Yeah, from that it alone makes more sense.
but
Anyway, we
I
need to
sorry,
sum up
no,
here.
I
We
just
need to
got to.
sum up.
I agree with you. It doesn't mean very quickly, but because of my recent epiphany due to finding out that the far side of the moon is a real thing, I'm. You notice I'm very hesitant to say that's nonsense. Now, I'm not prepared to say that anymore. I might be wrong. See?
Okay. So what? So come on, sum up here.
Mm.
Why was it left out in your opinion? Just because of the
Oh, you
dualism?
solved it, not me. You solved
Okay.
it. This is dualism.
I think there's other reasons we could have touched on, but yeah, there were certain bits that contradict some of the teachings of the Bible,
Mm.
but that one itself wasn't, wasn't could have been the reason why, but there were other reasons too. But we've run out
No,
of
I'm saying
time
that
for
was a
this
slam
time.
dunk. I'm saying that was that. All the other ones might have been ifs, whens, but what that particular one is a what? No. End of.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
Right. Okay. If you've loved this episode, hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexpected twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tayo, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.